Ahoy, Buccaneers and Buccarinas, and welcome back. Captain Ogie Stone here, and before anything else, don't forget to like the video if you like what you see, comment down about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos that I upload. That looks pretty nice right there, doesn't it? Nice and cold. Actually, it looks kind of brings the shelving together. But, obviously, everything that's valuable is not gold. Especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! Most of the time, well, it's not gold rare. That's the joke. Gold rares are cheap. I'll be here all week. Alright, later, guys. But seriously, though, there are some really expensive cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! At times, aren't there? I mean, you probably already know about Magician's Souls at this point. Probably the most expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Card to date. That's not to say there haven't been cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That haven't broken the mythical $100 price point barrier. I mean, heck, the earliest card I can remember that did that was Invasion of Chaos, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. Like, that's not a surprise. Cards hit the $100 barrier all the time. But Magician's Souls is something of a particular category of cards that I kind of want to make note of and draw some attention to. I don't think it's any surprise that if you've been around the community long enough, you know about the Legendary Duelist sets. And they're pretty casual-based sets. I mean, there's nothing that's, like, usually super competitive about these sets. But man, some of the cards from these sets tend to get a little bit expensive at times, don't you think? I mean, let's just go back to the very first one, for instance. Take Red Eye's Baby Dragon, for instance. That's it. Just a nice, simple, level 3 monster, 1200 attack, 700 defense, you know, Red Eye's support. It hasn't gotten a printing since, but it's currently a $12 card for a strategy that's not really competitive. I mean, what gives with that? It's like, it's really kind of confusing that there's such a high price point for a card that's not that particularly meta. The thing is that, yeah, Red Eyes isn't really a meta-relevant deck, but, you know, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be inexpensive, right? I mean, should a casual strategy always be the cheaper option? Well, kind of. I mean, that's just my hot take on the situation. I mean, you look at Red Eye's Baby Dragon as an example, and it's like, that card's really expensive. Well, relatively expensive for what it is. And it's not even, it just bumps up the price point of making a good Red Eyes deck. I mean, if you want to build a Red Eyes deck, you kind of have to run something like Red Eyes Baby Dragon. And if you can't run Red Eyes Baby Dragon because it's out of your budget, well then, what are you going to do? Buy a box of Legendary Duelists? No. Nobody's gonna buy a box for a card that they might get. You could buy 2 Ash Blossoms for the price of a Red Eyes Baby Dragon. Ash Blossom is relevant, guys. That's the thing. That's the problem with this situation, is that why would you want to pay for one card that's like Red Eyes Baby Dragon when you can buy something that's actually useful for a lot of different decks? What can I say? But hey, you know, Red Eyes is a casual strategy. There's no ridiculously overpriced cards in casual strategies. They're not meta-relevant, so why should they be? Well, then you get to the debacle that is Legendary Duelist 5 and Evil Hero Duster Gold. And Evil Hero Malicious Bane, the fusion monster. These guys are 70 bucks, 80 bucks, 65, 90 bucks. These guys are infamous, not just because they're evil heroes or anything, but because they showcase the problems of short printing. It's not that short printing hasn't been a part of the game. People have been fairly aware of it. I mean, there's a reason Konami made a specific statement saying, hey, we're not going to actually short print cards in main sets anymore. But it still kind of ends up with the problem, right? Legendary Duelist isn't a main set. It's not Rise of Destiny or Code of the Duelist or Savage Strike, or Secrets of Eternity, or Invasion of Vengeance. It's just not one of those sets. It's a side set. It's a subset, if anything. It's like Mystic Fighters, or, you know, anything in the Legendary Duelist set. So, the short printing problem ends up being even more relevant to that, because then it drives up the prices of these decks. I mean, are you really going to be building an Evil Hero deck that costs you upwards of $500, $600, $700 just to build the deck that yet won't even be playing on a competitive level? There are people who could play Orchist for cheaper, play Salamangreat for cheaper, play Altergeist. Altergeist are so much cheaper by comparison. It is easier to get Infinite Impermanence, evenly matched, and Secret Rare Ash Blossoms than it is to get an entire playset of these cards. That's kind of the problem. Now, granted, Legendary Duelist does occasionally print a card that does become meta relevant. Millennium Eyes Restrict, for instance, has been pretty stable as a $30, $40 price card. Nowadays, it's about $50. And it sees some on and off play, but then you get to something like Magician's Souls. And that's a card that everybody looked at. Everybody looked at it and they were like, okay, I see this card is good for Dark Magician, but this card is actually insane! Why would you print this card and not expect it to be exploding in price? And lo and behold, not only is it exploding in price because it's meta relevant, but because it's also short printed. And that's a big problem. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, I don't think people are going to be playing Magician's Souls strictly in Dark Magicians. They would only do that if they actually put some restriction on this card. You know? But because they didn't, cards are a bit more relevant. Again, I don't have any problems with cards with meta relevance being expensive. Lackluster Soldier was expensive, over $100. Tour Guide, once upon a time, was over $100. Currently, you got Lightning Storm, Pot of Extravagance. These cards are like secret rares and meta relevant. That makes sense then that they're costing about the same as a box of cards. But stuff like Duster Gold, Malicious Bane, why are those even like above 20? It's ridiculous. So it's one of those things that's like, these sets have demonstrated a problem within the lineup of Legendary Duelist. Not just in the short printing case, but just in the case of like trying to be casual in this game. And I feel like it's a little bit, it removes the incentive for a more casual player to invest into these products when the product is clearly geared to not let them get the best cards for their deck. Like, imagine a person who just wants to build Evil Heroes. So they're like, okay, well I gotta get this box because it's got like the new Evil Hero cards. You can probably get the rest of them for pretty cheap, whether that's in the box itself because they've been reprinted, or even the older cards, which haven't been meta relevant at all. They're probably all under $5 a copy. That's being generous. Most of them are probably under $1 for the most part. But then you get to this set and it's like, well, you go through an entire box, which is, what, $60? $60 box or something like that? Probably more, if anything. But, like, now we're looking at this where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get, like, 4 commons, and then I'm gonna get a rare of some kind. You know, I don't know what kind, but some kind. And the problem is that when you short print that kind of card, well, then it's like, okay, I open up a box, didn't get it. You know, didn't get the Ultra I wanted, didn't get the Secret that I wanted. I think it's usually just Ultras, I think they just stop at Ultras most of the time. But then it's like, well, I couldn't get it in this box. So I gotta go to the next box. Well, if it's short printed, it's gonna take probably 2-3 boxes. And I don't know about you, but I don't think a whole lot of players, especially really casual ones, have that kind of money. Sure, like, opening packs is gonna be nostalgic as anything, but like, there's only so many times you can look at a common card and be like, okay, this isn't exciting anymore. This is just, it just loses the luster after a while. Magician's Souls okay, I get it. It's a powerful card. It's probably okay to short print that. It's okay to incentivize people to go buy boxes and try and get that. But stuff like a Duster Gold? Why would you do that? Lightning Storm makes more sense than that. Like, it's one of those things that really kind of demonstrates to me one of the bigger problems with the Legendary Duelist set is that they're cutting out a lot of cards for more casual strategies because it's like, well, you know, we gotta get you to buy this stuff somehow, right? You want to buy, you know, Legendary Duelist #1 so you can get that Red Eyes Baby Dragon that's so hard to get. And you gotta keep buying if you want to build that good Red Eyes deck. But, like, is that really a good motivator for that sort of thing? I don't really know. It's the sort of thing where it feels like it makes sense to buy the product because you want to get the cards in the box, rather than because, you know, you're trying to get a very hard to get, very specific kind of card. But when you kind of get to a price point where it's like, okay, well, I could either spend $80 on a Duster Gold to get one copy of it, not have to deal with getting a ton of other cards that I'm not going to know what to do with, not going to know how to handle all of that, not sure really where that's going to go. Or, you know, you take that same $80 and you spend it on a box. And, you know, you're not likely to get a Duster Gold. You'll get a ton of other cards. But if you're just trying to get a Duster Gold, well then, you're okay. You might get it, you might not. It's one of those things where it's like, it suddenly seems like it's a safer investment to go get the one copy. But then, you only have the one copy. I mean, what are you gonna do? Spend another $80 for a second copy? Spend another $80 for a third copy? If you've got the money, of course you are. But then you're spending $240 on a single, like, playset of cards. That's almost like, well, okay. Casual me going off on this one. That seems a little bit much. Like, some of us don't exactly have the luxury of, you know, paying $240 for 3 cards. Okay? That's a little bit much. It's just one of those things that bothers me about the Legendary Duelist sets when they have cards like Magician's Souls, or Evil Hero Duster Gold, or Millennium Eyes Restrict, or even Red Eyes Baby Dragon, which isn't even remotely close to being the most expensive card out of the Legendary Duelist series. But it's just like, why would you need to get these cards to be so expensive? The problem with that, then, is like, well, if you want to build these strategies, like, say you're interested in trains, for instance, and you wanted to get stuff for trains, well, you gotta run Urgent Schedule, and that's like a $20 card. And you gotta get a play set of those. That's hard to ask for a lot of people. At least I think it's hard to ask for a lot of people. But, you know what? There's always one solution that can come around. Everybody looks forward to that sort of thing where it gets announced, reprints! Reprints are great! Reprints are always great, because they help bring back a lot of those cards that, you know, people found popular. Sky Strikers got a reprint in this box. In this little box here, they got a reprint into the Mega Packs. You could get Sky Striker cards, and prior to that, well, I mean, you know, you had Sky Striker Mobilize Engage being like, what, a $90 secret? Like, how are you gonna build Sky Strikers if you want to build Sky Strikers? It's gonna be very difficult. That didn't even come out till like a year after Sky Strikers came out. So it's like, well, but now you can build Sky Strikers because the cards are super cheap. And it's like, okay, cool. But like, at the time, getting a reprint of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, it was a big deal. It's one of those things where it's like, a lot of the main sets get these reprints, and these very powerful, meta-relevant cards tend to drop in price as a result, but that's okay because that gives it more accessibility to a whole larger player base, who may be saying, you know, okay, I don't want to spend $80 a copy to get this card, but hey, if it drops down to $40, $50, I'm okay with that. I can go for that. That's okay. But then, you get the Legendary Duelist sets, and those cards are not getting reprinted at all. There has not been another printing of Red Eyes Baby Dragon. There's not been another printing of Urgent Schedule. There's not a planned reprint of a Duster Gold, and there's certainly not going to be a reprint of Magician's Souls. Maybe OTS pack, maybe Ultimate Rare, but then like, ugh. I don't know. It just seems to me like the biggest problem with the Legendary Duelist sets, after all of these years, is that they're just restricted the new cards to those sets. And that drives up the price as time goes on. And it's kind of like, well, when are we going to get a reprint of those cards? And for right now, it seems like, well, you're not going to get a reprint of those cards. I'm sorry, did you want a Duster Gold to not be $80 and actually be accessible? Whoops! Sorry to hear about that. Good luck trying to pull it out of one of our boxes. It's okay, just spend $500 on boxes and maybe you'll get a copy, you know? It's a fine maybe. Or you can try and scavenge the internet for like a few copies of that. It's a great for your evil hero deck that you're probably gonna play with your friends. You can show off your Duster Golds and then you can be like, I'm pretty okay at this game, right? It seems like it's a little bit of a mismanagement of priorities when it comes to just the general player base. Maybe I'm just talking out of my ass on this one, really, but that's just kind of like how I see it. It's just like, why would you make these so hard to get for strategies that are not being sold to be like the next big meta deck, you know? Like Magician's Souls wasn't really gonna be a meta-relevant card. It was just like, we're bundling with Dark Magicians. But because of how generic it is and how accessible it is to a lot of different decks, it ended up becoming meta-relevant. It's one of the reasons, spirals are really powerful right now is because of Magician's Souls. And then it's like, well, now if you can get, $130 going to, like, a single copy, there you go. You suddenly have access to a powerful little draw engine, a really cool monster, you get Link Karibo access. There's a whole lot of stuff that comes into play with Magician's Souls. It only became meta-relevant because, well, Spirals became meta. Because of that. But like, a Duster Gold? Malicious Bane? Evil Heroes never became meta-relevant. Where was that? Where was that deck? I don't see that deck anywhere. That's kind of the thing about it though, right? Is like, it's not there. But you know what? I think it's okay. Like, if Konami ever ends up reprinting the Legendary Duelist sets or providing those cards to get a reprint or something, I'm sure it'll sell very well. Whether it's because it's including meta-relevant stuff like Millenniumizer Strict, or just casual stuff for, building those casual decks, like Red Eyes Baby Dragon. So you know what? I'm gonna just say this. Konami, if you're listening, if you are listening right now, and you might not be because I'm a very small person, but you know what? Take me up on this if you do end up finding me. Reprint the Legendary Duelist cards, the cards that are exclusive to Legendary Duelist sets, as of now. If you make a set that reprints those cards, I will buy a box of that. Alright? That's a guaranteed 60, 70, 80 bucks. I will buy that. That's right. Ball's in your court. Boom. Yugioh out. That's so cringe, oh my god. Who would do that? Pirate gangsters.